Okay, you guys, I'm so sorry. I did, been sitting in this chair for 2 hours without peeing. And then I was on the phone backstage talking with Tia. And I was like, oh my God, I gotta go. So, anyways, guys, this is going to be a really fun conversation with somebody who you might know. So, I will introduce her in just a moment. So, gather around. And thank you, Mckamey. I apologize. Thank you. No, no chance. No, no dance. No, no chance. No, no dance. No, no chance. Give me second chances. That's so cool! I won! Yay! Ow! Ow! Look, my boyfriend's in the chat. Hey, Oscar. So anyways, guys, this is Leanne. You often see or hear her on Natasha's panel a lot of the time, but she had told me a while ago that she has experience in doing like paranormal investigations and stuff. So I'll let you introduce all of that stuff.
Hello. Like you said, most of you know me. I'm Leanne. I know that I have some friends and family in the chat as well. And I had some questions that came up today. If you guys have questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. And if I don't catch it, I know Robbie will.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and if I don't, yeah. I know that Mckamey will because she puts me in my place.
Awesome. She's right on it. That's great. Because I know I'm not the best at keeping up with the chat.
So can I ask you first, when did you get into like doing paranormal stuff? Did you see ghosts when you were a kid, or did you just kind of want to hop into it?
It's funny that you say that, because that was actually one of the questions that got sent to me.
Oh, okay.
And I'll give you just a brief background on how things kind of started for me. In our household, we had a grandma that lived with us who was part Native American. And so we learned a whole lot of things, about superstitions. And we were always raised to be pretty open-minded about paranormal things, anything that couldn't be explained. And I would say when I was about 4 or 5 is when I first noticed, if we would go, say, to the cemetery to put, flowers on relatives or friends, I would always feel like people were watching me. And it would scare me. So I would, I didn't understand what it was. I would always stay close to my mom or my grandma or my dad because I didn't understand it. And then as I got older and older and I learned more and more, it became very apparent that I am an empath and a sensitive. I'm not a psychic. I can't see the future or anything like that, but I can sense presences. I can feel them. So that feeling that I was getting of people watching me is because they really were. I just can't see them, but I can feel that they're there. So
yeah, it's so weird. I feel like ever since you and I, you know how we call each other twins?
Yeah.
Sometimes like I do with Iris, because you're always on the same mind length as me. You know what I'm saying?
We really are.
And I like to change the theme. Like my last live stream I did, I changed the color and I went and put on a green hat and you're wearing green. We're like connected.
I know. We totally match. I'm like, what the heck? When I saw that, I was like, oh, I picked the right shirt.
Yeah. Hey, LFT.
And then when I was about 13 or so, starting to get into like, where you have sleepovers and stuff and slumber parties for girls. And that's when I really discovered, from watching scary movies, of course, that Ouija boards. Oh, yes. And so my dad, this is a funny story. I actually was with my dad and we stopped at some random garage sale once when I was like 13. And there was a Ouija board. And I said, hey, Dad, can I get that? And he's like, sure. And we took it home and my mom freaked out. Get that devil board out of this house. And just freaked out. And my grandma was like, don't play with that. That is not good. Do not play with that. And of course, I didn't listen. Not a good thing to play with if you don't know. Only I didn't stop there. I decided to try my hand at a seance. And please don't ever do this if you've never done it and you don't know what you're doing. And if you have kids, please discourage them from playing this stuff because things really can happen. I was at a sleepover party And we were sitting like on this enclosed porch at my friend's house. There were several girls there with me, and her parents were just next door playing cards with the neighbors. So we were the only ones there. We decided it would be really fun to do a seance. So me, I'm kind of a smart aleck. And so, we lit the candles. We didn't know what to do, only seen what we've seen in movies. And so, we're holding hands, and I say, "Oh, spirits, come to me." And the door slams to the house and shatters all the glass out of the window. And it was like, oh, okay. And so then I'm thinking, nah, that just was a fluke. So we're so stupid. We clean up the glass and let's do it again. So we do it again, and the door was open. And when you went in this door, there was a stairway that kind of went, up and then turned. And so, being a smart aleck again, I say it, and a ball comes flying down the stairs. And after that, it was like, I'm done. Nope, I'm not doing this.
Well, see, because I did the same kind of thing. I did light as a feather, stiff as a board.
Oh, yep.
And I'm telling you, and I'm sure if you've done it, I feel like when you truly, it's just like when you invite God into your life, you truly have to just ask him. And it's the same way with spirits, demons, whatever it is. But I clearly remember when I was a child, in about third grade, I want to say, light as a feather, stiff as a board worked every single time. It was not multiple children sitting around. It was only a couple of us. And literally, I remember people floating on my fingers, and I remember floating. And there was some weird stuff that happened in my life at my home after that, and seeing ghosts.
We're twins again, because been there, done that. Yeah. Yeah, and not understanding it. And I was always the dorky girl in elementary school checking out the ghost story books, And if you asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, I always said I wanted to be a parapsychologist. And people were like, huh? And I was like, oh, that's the study of all things paranormal. And they're like, oh, sure. I didn't go and get that degree, though.
So did you start to see like physical ghosts after that happened when you were 13?
Sometimes I would see shadow people. And it scared me. And it wasn't always a nice, you got the feeling. There again, I'm an empath and a sensitive. So it was that feeling. And it was the feeling of something being very wrong. And almost like somebody was just kind of stalking you all the time. It was a scary feeling. Only it wasn't like
I still get that
person. And I had to really research and look into and talk to people about, what do I do? How do I close this that I opened? And it took some research and some contacting people, but we did get it closed. And from then on out, I thought, if I'm going to do this kind of stuff, I better really learn how to do it right. And for a long time, I didn't do much with it. I had a baby and got married, and that became my priority. But as my daughter got bigger, I never let her touch a Ouija board, never let her do a seance, and we never really talked about it. But then one day I got a call from someone who said, would you like to go on an investigation with us? And I was like, sure, why not? And that pretty much just opened the door for me, and it just became a lot of fun and challenging. And there has been some scares too, but to me, that's my drug, so to speak. It's like,
well, you're open. You're open to it.
And I want those answers. I want answers to things. I also make sure that for me personally, I am a religious person. I do believe in God. I pray before I ever start. And before I pick up a spirit box or I go on any kind of investigation, I surround myself with the white light of God. And I make sure to also say that nothing negative can, come near me or attach to me. I've seen demons attached to things before. It's not something that I care to experience. And so I'm very, very sure to protect myself. I also wear I'm one of these that wears, the different crystals. and different things. A lot of that
I just
comes
got
from my
sent a
native.
bunch of crystals.
See, that's awesome. A lot of that comes from, you know, my Native American grandma and the properties of, you know, things of the earth. These were made by God, these stones and things. And so for me, it's my belief. I just use them as a little bit of extra protection, but my ultimate protection is God.
Absolutely. Um, uh, and who was that saying they want, hey, Angel Eyes, can you tell us a story about the mirror? She's saying.
Yes. Who's saying that?
Was it Amy? Hold on, let
Oh,
me
that's
look.
my best
Yes.
friend.
Yes.
Well, I mean, probably one of the scariest stories that I've ever had with a mirror, and if this is the one I'm thinking of, was I was a single mom and my daughter was probably 6 maybe, and we lived in this little house. I had a dresser with, you know, a big mirror, just like a regular dresser. It had been my parents, so there wasn't anything spooky about it.
Mm-hmm.
And one night there was a really bad thunderstorm and she got scared. And so she came in and wanted to sleep with me. And I didn't usually let her do that, but you know, poor kid was scared. So I said, yeah, crawl in bed with me. So I was laying like on my side with my back to the mirror, but she was on her side facing me and facing the mirror. And she just started screaming bloody murder that there was a man in the mirror. And I could not figure out what she was talking about. And I said, no, it's just the
Ugh.
lightning. And she's screaming, I mean, hysterical. So I turn over and there was this green, horrible, I don't even know how to describe it. Demon is probably the best way to describe it. It was the
Really,
scariest
Leanne?
thing.
Green? You had to say
Yes,
green?
I know. Why green? Yes. And I literally grabbed her out of bed, grabbed my purse and my keys, and we left in the middle of a thunderstorm and went and stayed at my mom and dad's. And I wouldn't go back until my dad took the mirror out and took it to the dump.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Wasn't taking a chance.
So I've got to tell you, and I don't know, because you kind of explained the way that you see these beings different than me. I'm putting on the green light.
Yes.
Oh, wait,
I
that's
see
not green
shadow
enough.
figures mostly.
Well, okay, so with me, I've actually, and this is why I named this, did that really happen? Because I was like, what am I going to name this paranormal stream with Leanne? Because people always, if you tell them that, they're like, oh, that didn't really happen.
Right.
But it
Right.
did. And I was more open because, like, okay, so you were explaining you feel like people are watching you sometimes. That
And
just
it feels
happened to
like
me
they're,
last night in bed when I was thinking about what case was it? I was thinking about what's her name? Gabby.
yes.
And all of a
Gabby
sudden,
Petito.
yes. And whenever I get the feeling somebody's watching me in bed, I have to put my feet under the covers. Just,
Me
I'm
too.
not scared of them, but I felt like this presence. And it's weird, but it comes from when I was little. I used to sleep in the pitch black. I don't do that anymore. I have 2 night lights, one over there, and my computer light. And it's always lit in my room, and Carol's there to comfort me. But when I was
Yep.
little, the first one I saw was, I remember my parents got me this little statue of a little girl that was holding like a leaf. And I think it came from my grandma's house. Anyways, I wake up in the middle of the night. I shared a room with my brother. The girl, the actual girl from the statue was standing next to my bed, and she was like about this tall, and she was going like this with her mouth. And I stared at her, and I remember pulling the covers over my head. And the best way to explain what she looked like is, like a glowworm. Like
Yeah.
ghosts, the way they shine on TV is not the way I saw her.
No.
It's like you could
No.
see them in the dark, but they're like, it's hard to explain, almost
They're
like a
like
computer screen.
translucent. Yeah. Yeah. It's like a translucent. It's hard to explain, but yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yes. And she was there all night. I didn't say anything. I pulled the covers over my head and I sweat. And then after that, I saw a woman in my other bedroom by myself. I woke up. She was putting a cloth on my head like I was sick, going to the end of the room, dipping it in a bowl that this other woman was holding like I was
Wow.
sick. And I started screaming, and my dad came to the room. And when I looked at the door, this is going to sound crazy, but there was a mummy standing in the doorway.
It's like
No
that might have
joke.
been, you might have had a portal there, truthfully. It sounds like there may have been a portal that things were coming and going through. Yeah.
And people, they don't believe you, but these are clear memories that I know happened. And these were people where I was little. So I was like, what is she doing in my house taking care of me? And when I realized this woman's not supposed to be here,
Yeah.
that's when I freaked out.
Right. Yeah. I
And
mean,
why are the
I
lights not on?
have you ever, besides that, where she felt like it was putting a cloth, she was, putting a cool cloth on your head. Have you ever felt like you've been touched? You know, that's a scary feeling. And so that's one thing that whenever I learned quickly when I go on investigations to make it very clear, you do not have permission to touch me.
Hmm. Well, I mean, I didn't feel uncomfortable with these ghosts. And I know that they were ghosts. Like people are like, "Oh, you had too much sugar before bed," or "You have a wild imagination." I'm like,
No, you
"How do
know
you?"
when you're seeing, yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. Van says, when I renovated my old house, the dude that owned it previous had passed away, and he would whistle at me when I would undress. I used to shower with the clothes. Well, Van, you look that good. Like you're gorgeous, so that's probably why. Terrible nightmares as a child. So, back to you. When
No,
you
you're
started
fine.
doing these paranormal investigations, was anything happening when you were
Um,
doing them? Because you're doing them with a group of other people, right? So it's like
yes, I've
some
I've
people can
done
throw you
alone.
off.
I've done alone challenges and alone stuff also. But yeah, initially when I started investigating, it started out in cemeteries. And,
Mhm.
because that's the biggest thing. Oh, the cemeteries are haunted. And actually, the cemeteries are less haunted than you would think. um,
Yeah, you'd think so.
yeah. I
Just
mean, of
because
course,
there's
there's,
emptiness.
yes. I mean, there, of course, is always spirits that linger, or who knows if they come and go. But that's where I started. And that was pretty fun because you could just take a digital recorder, just any little digital recorder, doesn't have to be anything expensive. And we would just turn them on and set them on gravestones and stuff, and then just go, take pictures. And like the picture I sent you of the cemetery gate and the ectoplasm. And then later we go
Yes.
back and gather them up and then see if we got any electronic voice phenomenon on there, and sometimes we did. And one time we put a voice recorder on my grandparents' grave. And when we went back to get it later, the voice whispered and said, I love you.
I'm going to
So that
post that
made
on the
me
screen.
feel super comforted.
Do you feel like demons hang out in graveyards to
No,
like distract people?
I really don't. I've never, and I've done quite a few investigations of cemeteries, I've never encountered a demon. Have I ever encountered like a negative spirit of a person? Yes.
Oh God, me
Yes.
too.
There are some people in life who are not very pleasant. And unfortunately, when they pass away, that sometimes carries on.
There's going to be a lot of YouTubers haunting
You got
evil
that
YouTubers
right.
haunting people.
They're the demons.
No, but I mean,
And I've
it's
been
not just
cussed
that.
out by spirits.
Mm. Well, see, it's not just that way with spirits, though. Like for me, and that's another thing I wanted to talk to you about. And a lot of people like Rosa Lang and people that are, you're just naturally and you can pick up on people's feelings, and that's why there's certain even chats you can go into, and you're like, oh, I'm getting an icky feeling from this, or
Yep.
certain people that are alive, and you have that, and there's a lot of people where you just can't even be around them because pessimism, I can't be around. It gives me a
They
headache,
suck
even
that
if they're not
energy right out
talking.
of you. You're an
Yeah,
empath. That's why. You're just
yeah,
like
and
me.
it's
You're an
just,
empath.
and I'm an optimist too. I may complain and bitch and cuss people out,
We
but I
all
am an
do.
optimist. Yeah.
We're human.
And like with that, it's like people don't ruin my day, but a pessimist is one of the worst. Ugh, it's just ugh, I can't
And do you
take
ever
it.
feel overwhelmed, like when you're in a big crowd of people? It's just like, whoa, sensory overload because you're picking up on all their emotions and stuff.
Daily. I'm
Yeah.
downtown Denver all the time, so it's
Yeah.
like
So you're getting major overload.
a lot of like sadness from a lot of drug use and stuff, you know, homeless and all that.
Yep.
I'm around that. So it's like, it's just a lot of dark energy. But this is the picture you had sent me.
Yes, and that is from a paranormal group that I had gone on some guest investigations with. That is a cemetery that actually my mom is out there, my aunt, uncle, my cousin, my grandparents, great grandparents. So I mean, lot of family out there. Um, it's a very old cemetery, and it's like in the middle of nowhere. And that's where I always feel like I'm being watched, because I am. But this was an ectoplasmic mist that they happened to catch. Yeah, it shows you the temperature and everything right there. So, I mean, there was no fog, nobody was smoking, there wasn't anything that should have been causing that. And I've been through those
Wow.
gates, hundreds of times probably by now.
I wish I could zoom. I should have cropped it more, but yeah, that is so
You
what
have
is
got to come out. You're going to have to come out here and see us sometime. We'll take you around, because I'm just in Nebraska, so I'm not far away from you.
Oh my God, sometimes
We're neighbors.
yeah, when me and my parents, because they live in Kansas, and when I last went out there, we drove. Nebraska's like 30 minutes north of them. We drove there to get king crab legs at this really good
Nice.
restaurant, and I
So
forget
yeah, I'm not far from you. So if you're ever down there again, you got to come. I've got, I can take you out there we can take you to the cemetery and some other places that are good. And I've got a lot of ghost hunting equipment to take with us.
Okay. Did you want to address another one of the, because I gave my members and my Patreons a chance to ask her questions ahead of time. Did you want to address another one of the questions that you had?
I
And
can
then I'll
ask
let
another
people.
Another question that I had emailed to me was, if someone wanted to just do some ghost hunting like as a hobby, what would I suggest them to get for, equipment? You don't have to spend a lot of money to be, to do some ghost hunting. If you have an iPhone or any phone that can record voice memos, you can record electronic voice phenomena with that. You don't have to have the fancy equipment to do it. Or, like I kind of said before, it doesn't have to be even an expensive like digital recorder. And you can catch things on these very easily. Another thing I suggest is this ghost meter. I'll turn it on so you can kind of see what it is. It lights up, really orange if you're picking up
Ooh, that one's
something.
fun.
This one came off of eBay, and I think it was like $25 or $30. Very inexpensive, runs on 9-volt battery. And I've compared it to my more expensive meter, and I like this one better.
I like the colors of that one.
Yeah, it's fun. It lights up. Yeah, and there's a little needle here. I know it's hard to see on the camera, but if you're getting a hit that you're picking up a spirit, that little needle will go way up, and this thing will just light up and beep for you constantly. So there's no way to miss it. Or, if you're doing like a cemetery investigation and you just want to set it down like on a gravestone, you can't miss it if it lights up. So you'll know that you're picking up something. Another thing I suggested real quick is just these little flashlights that you can get anywhere that have, the screw on top that you just turn it off and on like that. I usually have 2 of them. You can set them up so that they're really loose so that, if a spirit touches it, it'll turn off or on. It's really fun to ask questions like, is anyone here with me? Can you make one of the flashlights light up? And if it lights up, then you got somebody there. And
Mckamey and I did that a lot.
Did you do it? See, isn't it fun? And those are very inexpensive ways, if you want to do some amateur ghost hunting that are fun.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw Mexi and I think it's called the Third Bridge. Sandra the medium came with us. That place was demonic and crazy.
I got a weird vibe just watching it.
Oh,
I really did.
Do you pick up
weird vibes?
Sorry, go ahead.
No. I'll answer the question.
Okay, she's saying, what does a blue orb mean? I don't know.
There's really, my mentors have never taught me that a blue orb means anything differently than a red orb or a white orb. It's just whatever the spirit chooses, to manifest as for their orb. There's never really been anything told to me. I was mentored by a shaman and a couple of legit psychics, and they've all pretty much said the same thing. There's no specific reason they're different colors.
Jerry's saying I went to a cemetery where my favorite uncle is at with the lady I thought was my friend. She was forced off the cemetery and she got sick, I think is what he's saying. It was like she was being
Ooh.
pushed away. Thank you, Miss Beautiful. I love paranormal stuff
So
too. I could talk about it all day long.
me
Thank you
too.
for that.
That's why I got involved in what I got involved in. And yeah, I
Well,
can
it's
see
because
that
it's a
though.
mystery. You want to know.
Yeah, and there's no
You've been
definitive
close to
answer.
ghosts. Yeah, like
Yes.
being close and seeing spirits when I was little. I've seen them when I was 23. I saw one in my studio apartment downtown. I lived, it was called Mezzo, Sherman Tower. Look it up. It was built in like 1930s, I believe,
Oh,
downtown
cool.
Denver.
Yeah, the
Uh,
historic buildings are the best.
yes. However, first I saw a very large, heavy-set woman in my kitchen, and I had a studio. My boyfriend, I lived there alone, but my boyfriend was there in the shower, and I was like, and I freaked out. I didn't want to say anything until I left the next day. I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to mention her. And she looked
Right.
very sad. But then my boyfriend went to go, this was later on, he went to go smoke on the rooftop because I didn't let him smoke in my apartment. I was on the ninth
Sure.
floor. I go in my shower. Okay. I'm in the shower, close the door, and I'm going to get out of the shower. And I go to open the door and it opens and then someone's like pulling it back shut on me. And I remember I was like,
Whoa.
and I couldn't get out and I was sweating hot because I take steaming showers. And
Yeah.
I start, I was like, oh my God, Michael, let me out. I thought he was messing with me, my
Right.
boyfriend.
That would be
I'm
my thought
pounding.
too.
After, God, I feel like maybe it was like 15 minutes. I'm screaming. I start crying. I'm claustrophobic. My neighbor that I never met opens my door in my apartment, like, hello?
To make sure you're
Is anyone in
okay.
here? Are
Yeah.
you okay? I was like, I'm locked. Somebody's trapping me in the bathroom. I thought it was my boyfriend. He comes and he just opens the door. So
Wow.
this place, and my friend lived on the fifth floor and had similar experiences. It was weird.
Yeah.
So,
There's definitely some history there that is hanging around. And my daughter had a very similar experience to what you had in your bathroom. We lived
mhm,
in a house that we were just renting at the time. And when we were moving in, I had a box of cookbooks and I was carrying them in. Well, there was a door that went to this giant upstairs bedroom. And it was right by the kitchen. And I watched the doorknob turn and the door just opened a crack like somebody was peeking out and then slammed shut. And I dropped the whole box and just took off, and I'm such a chicken. I was like, "Dad, please go over and check it out for me." And he went over there and went through the whole house and was like, "There's nobody here." So we got all moved in, and I just kind of, oh, whatever, maybe I was just tired, just, trying to just, yeah, it's all right. And my
mhm.
daughter was about 15 and she was home. It was in the summertime and I was working. And she called me just freaking out. She had been in the shower and the shower curtain went and flung open and she couldn't get out the door. She went to run out the bathroom door and she said it was like somebody was holding it from the other side. She couldn't get out. And
Oh,
she had her
yes.
phone in the bathroom with her and she was crying. And so I didn't live very far from my work. So I hurried up and ran home. And same thing. I unlocked the door and went in the house and just went and opened the door. And I was like, I don't know. She was crying hysterically, freaking out. It was very, very scary. And
I,
that
I,
house had a lot of weird things.
yeah, and Sherry's saying she did a tour of the real Conjuring house. That
Oh,
would
I
be
would love it.
interesting, picking up the energy. Hey, Dana Marie. I don't know if you've heard, I've told this before, but the scariest, most real ghost story that I have, this was like back, I lived right next to Nicole Kissinger's apartments, and the ones
Oh,
next, like,
wow.
this was a long time ago, though, like way before she even probably even was there.
Sure.
Um, and so this was about 2005. Mexi and I were friends back then, and he came over after this happened and did like paranormal stuff and threw out my dream catcher. But I had a dream, and in my dream, I was in my bed. I had this apartment by myself. I There was this evil woman in my closet, very dead looking,
Ew.
long, like your typical dead looking,
Mm-hmm.
evil, demonic looking woman, right? And she started off slow, like quiet, like and started screaming.
Ew.
And then I woke up to a loud banging sound from my closet. Okay, this was a huge walk-in closet. So what did I do? Like I did with any
Whoa.
other thing that I'm scared of, I sweat under my covers until the morning sun, right? So in the morning, I get up because I have to get ready for work. I go in the closet. And you know how in a walk-in closet there's shelves, I put boxes up
Yes.
there, whatever. Everything was on the floor. My clothes, hanger, all of it. The
So
shelves,
there was something
everything.
in there.
I freaked
Whoa.
out and I told Mexi and my best friend Bree, who was married to him at the time, I was like, oh my God. So Mexi came over and he like threw out dream catchers out of my house and was like, he does
Wow.
his paranormal stuff. He's always done stuff like that. Hey,
Wow.
Kathleen.
That is scary. It must be something with closets because, well, here's another weird story for you. My dad, after my mom passed away, my dad would always call me and say, "Hey, do you want to go to an auction or an estate sale?" He collected Coca-Cola stuff. So, I think he was just lonely. And so I'd be like, "Sure, let's go." Well, he learned with me in an estate sale, sometimes I'll walk in and it just doesn't feel right. Like the energy in the house. And I would tell him, you know what,
Ugh.
I'll be in the car. I can't buy anything here. And he learned, like, oh, I'm not buying anything here either. Then he would leave. Well, one time I bought a picture, and it was a picture, just a small oval picture. And it was a real little girl. And it was like, an old fashioned little girl. And I had it hanging in my husband in my room by the closet. That closet would not stay shut. You would close it and you'd hear it latch and you could pull on it and it would not open. You'd get in bed and it would open. If you took the picture away, it would stay shut.
Oh.
I donated the picture and my Ouija board to the Museum of Shadows here. That's a place I
Oh.
have to take you to if you come.
Yeah,
I'll get you
I
their
definitely got to
website.
come and see you. You're close, and
Yeah, the Museum of Shadows, the lady and the gentleman that own it, they Kaylee is a real psychic, legit, and Nate is a demonologist.
mm-hmm.
And everything in their museum is certified to be haunted. It's all tested. They have retired FBI agents that watch this stuff in quarantine. It's just fascinating. And we've gone to ghost hunts there. Fascinating. Never been to one that something didn't happen. But there again, it depends on the energy you've got in the room. Anywhere with me, you can ask my husband, who I don't think really believed when we first got married. He's learned that weird stuff happens all the time with me.
What? Okay, I'm going to tell you my opinion first, and I don't know yours, but Lisa's asking, are dream catchers bad? Here's my opinion on them. I truly feel, and I feel like I've done this before. When you scare yourself and you, oh God, what's the word I'm looking for? When you make something, what is that? With your mind. And it, oh God,
You manifest it.
manifest. So I feel like dream catchers, you're manifesting whatever's going in there. I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like your dreams, you're saying, oh, it's catching all my bad dreams. So you're already manifesting all this bad energy to go into this object. So I feel like it's not good. What do you think?
It can be bad. Like you said, if you're manifesting that into it, absolutely. In my room, I have 3. But remember, I was raised in a home with a grandma that was part Native American. I also learned from the shaman that I know, with the dream catcher, it's the same as anything else. Sage it, use Palo Santo if you don't have sage, or Florida water. Spray it with Florida water. Yep.
Hold on, I gotta make
That
it even more creepy lighting in here.
So if there is a negative energies manifesting into that, once you cleanse those, that it's like wiping the chalkboard clean, so to speak. It takes that negative that's manifested and it takes it out of there. Just like when you sage a room or a house or yourself. I don't know if you ever sage yourself. That sounds really silly.
Oh, I do it when I'm naked in the
Yeah, and
bathroom.
you should. And you should, because that gets anything negative in your day, just takes it right away from you. Yep.
if anybody wants to ask her a question or ask, you can.
Please do.
I'll open the
I don't wanna
panel
just
safely. Oh, whoops!
I
Not like
don't
that
want to
yet.
just ramble and take up everybody's time. I have a couple
Well, no,
spirit
this isn't
boxes.
about you and your experience. As soon as I found out, I love talking about this with people because you get it. Like the
I
things that
do
I've
get it.
seen and gone through, and
And I've been
just
screamed at and told that I'm a crazy lunatic and this stuff isn't real. And I'm just like, I respect your opinion. I respect everyone's opinions. This happens
Mhm.
to be, I do believe it. I've seen things that I cannot explain.
um see there everything has been very clear for me. Like these are and that's why like I do believe in ghosts even though I've seen them, but I also believe that there's evil stuff out there because I will say, and
There is.
I'm not talking about like my parents or anything like that, but uh, anytime there was fighting or screaming in my house, and I'm not saying it happened all the time, but every house has that.
No, but everybody argues.
I
Yeah.
But I would immediately want to run towards my family away from being alone because I felt, and this is going to sound weird, but I felt like there was this distraction to like, okay, they're fighting over here, so they're not paying
So
attention to
then
me, and
I'll
there was
get you.
something trying to get to me, and that may sound crazy, but ooh, I get chills just thinking about it.
No, I know.
Uh,
I know what you're saying. And it feels
oh,
sometimes like, do you ever get the feeling sometimes that something is right behind you? When you're a kid, if you have stairs, I don't know if you ever did this. In our house, we had stairs, and I would run as fast as I could up the stairs because I was number one, I thought somebody was going to reach through the stairs and grab me, or, grab me from behind and throw me down. And I don't know what I thought it was going to be, but it was just scary. So I would turn the lights off and run as fast as I could upstairs. And I still sometimes get that feeling where it's like, oh God, I just want to
it's
run because
no, it's
I
happening right
hate it.
now. I need to burn sage because I
Uh-oh.
feel like by talking about it, it's making me feel,
No, you're
like
good.
you know how you kind of
Remember, and
invite.
I guess I should have told you too that before we even got on the stream, I did my prayer and I did surround us both in the white light. So you're good. You can ask my friend Amy that's in here, she's my BFF, and she'll tell you. I always do that with her too.
I think we have Ashley backstage. Hold on.
Oh,
Let's
great.
make sure it.
Yeah, that it's nothing
Ashley?
else. No
Oh, yes,
surprises.
it's Lady Gaga / NK.
Oh, yes, I saw you earlier.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good. Did you see my question?
I saw
I was
very
looking for it,
briefly.
but then I just
Was it about your
what was it?
daughter?
Yeah, she wants a witchcraft book, and then she wants sage to go along with it. I thought that was kind of like
The sage, I would
I
say,
have
is
a
okay.
confession.
What's that?
I got a witchcraft book and I never messed around with that when I was like 22. And me and my friend Kristen, we did a spell that everybody would see us beautiful for the rest of our life because we were really self-conscious. Ever since then, people told me how good looking I was.
I was going to say it worked.
I
The
don't know what
sage.
she's getting into. She's getting into like really, I don't know, like I used to follow paranormal and then it started like really creeping me out. So I kind of stayed away from it.
Mhm.
We lived into a house where a lot of creepy stuff happened, and we never heard of like sage or anything like that. But she's like getting into like all these crystals and
Which is
sage.
okay. Look at me. I'm all crystalled up. My wrists,
Yeah, I got some
my
crystals.
neck.
She
I'm all
she
crystalled up.
she went all crazy because if I'm talking weird, sorry, I just got my
Oh, you're
tooth pulled
fine.
earlier.
I know, and you were drinking coffee.
I was.
Oh,
I was.
that's
But like
miserable.
my daughter's like my other daughter's 4, and if she touches my other daughter's crystals, she's like, now they don't work, and she just goes all crazy. But I thought witchcraft was like bad.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the sage, as long as she's asking for just sage and she's not asking you for like black sage, if she starts saying to you, I want some black sage, no, you know. That's usually used in spells that are more of the dark nature, do not get that for her. If she just says she wants sage, you're fine there, because that's just a cleansing. It won't hurt anything. It
You want
smells
to know
kind
what
of
I
funny.
think
Some
about?
people don't like it, but
Yeah. Yeah.
The way I look at witchcraft is I actually look at, like, let's say someone's doing a spell or something. I actually see that as a really detailed prayer. So if
it
you're
is,
doing it in
and
a bad way, you don't pray bad stuff on people. But if you're,
absolutely.
you know, like when I pray, I'm like, God, can you please do this or that or that? I feel like you're just kind of trying to take control over that, but you're also adding the spiritual world in there with it.
And that's absolutely right. It just depends on the intention. You know, now if she's looking more for like a Wicca, because sometimes people get that confused with actual witchcraft, I don't really see any harm if that's what she's meaning. Just monitor her. If she wants actual witchcraft books, just, you know, ask a lot of questions, just kind of monitor it. But don't worry about the sage. You're fine there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was fine with this. Oh shoot! Sorry. I was
Just be
fine
careful
with
of fire
this.
hazards.
Yes.
Yeah, she's into like burning like incense and all this crazy stuff now. And like within like the past couple weeks, she's like completely changed everything about herself. And I'm like, where is all this like coming from? And then she started asking about like, I don't know, you're 13, you're weird, you know, like they do weird things.
Yeah,
She's
that's when
starting
I
to
started doing
really,
seances and stuff. So yeah, I know all
That's when I
about
started
that.
drinking.
if she,
So at least she's doing witchcraft.
oh
Don't buy
my
a Ouija
God.
board. Don't let her do that,
No,
you know.
I don't no, I don't mess around with that stuff. We used to live in a
Good.
house that was like really creepy and anything. That's why I told her she wasn't getting a witchcraft book. I'm like, you're not bringing that into my house. No way. Are you crazy? But like
Yeah.
I said, like, I don't know all that much about it. And when she asked me for crystals for Christmas, I'm like, well, come on, man. I don't know what I'm supposed to buy. Like, I don't know what it's all
My
about.
granddaughter is 10 and she loves crystals and she burns incense and, you know, all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff too. She hasn't said anything about witchcraft yet, but she's very curious about the paranormal. So we just keep an eye on her and make sure, you know, she's not asking
Yeah.
really weird stuff.
Well, for a while there, because of a house I lived into, I like really got into the paranormal, and I was only like 14 at that age, and I honestly thought my mom was just screwing with me, and then I kind of got out of it, and then I started getting like back into it again, and then I get back out of it. I was told that the place that I'm living now, I was told some guy died in here, and
Great.
when I start thinking about that stuff, I just start tripping myself out. Like I have a bunny, and every time she'll hop, I get like so
Oh,
jumpy
yeah.
because that's always stuck in my head now. And then the girl who used to live, because I live in a duplex, so the girl who used to live upstairs, she's like, I see shit, I hear shit, there's somebody walking, and I'm like, there's nobody above you, the roof is above you. She's
Right. You're
like,
like,
no,
don't
I
tell
can
me
hear
that.
them. Right. So anytime I see any sort of shadow, and my son, okay, he is 16, he's 6'4", 230
Holy
pounds.
shit.
Wow.
Yeah, he's huge.
Wow.
So he has this thing where he likes to be creepy as fuck. Like I'll like walk out of the bathroom and he's just standing there.
Oh, great. Talk about give you a heart attack.
It is the scariest thing. My biggest thing in the entire world is when I don't even need to watch a horror movie. If I'm walking somewhere and someone is just standing there motionless, you will scare the living shit out of me. Terrify me. Actually, Robbie, speaking of Scream the other day, you want to know what's funny? I have not watched anything past Scream 4. Do you want to know why?
Why? Because
When
there's no
Sydney's dead mom walked up to the window,
Oh, Scream 3. Yeah.
Scream 3, whatever that is. Listen, to this day, I
That is a
have
scary
blackout.
scene.
I have blackout curtains on my window, and at
Same.
nighttime, I will not open my shades. I won't.
Same.
I won't. That scared the shit out of me so bad. I used to have nightmares about Scream and Jeepers Creepers mixed into one.
Yeah. And what's funny about that is that's like a dream sequence in Scream, and it's still scary, like because
Yeah,
of how it looks and the
it
setup and
is.
everything. And yeah, that's one of the scariest scenes in those movies. But Miss Beautiful Mess was saying she had deja vu about this exact moment. I don't know what you
Deja
guys
vu
believe
is
about.
so weird.
I
Yeah,
believe
it's weird.
what Sylvia Brown said about deja vu, and that is it is a time, it's a flag, because I believe that we have a blueprint before we come to Earth of things that
Me
we
too.
want to plan out and that we want to learn. So I think deja vu is a timestamp in time saying that you are on the right track. So if you get
I
deja vu, it's a
agree.
good thing, in my opinion.
I get
Yeah,
that all the time.
You're on
I
the right
agree.
track of your chart. And
I
people may say,
mean,
well, I'm getting deja vu for bad reasons, but you plan bad things to happen to you as well, and struggles
Yep,
before you come here.
I think so. Robbie,
so
have you ever
Robbie, you
been to?
believe in psychics then?
Oh, absolutely. Like, I have my intuition all the time, and I still need to give you your, private reading.
I
um,
know real legit psychics that have given me readings about things that there is absolutely no way that they would have ever known or been able to look up about me.
See, the
Things
thing
like,
is, I stopped liking psychics for one reason. Robbie, I'll send you a picture of it later. It's
okay.
actually an ultrasound of when my son So this was 16, 17 years ago almost.
Mhm.
And in the ultrasound, okay, do you know those little hats that have like that little, it's like round and then it comes out like that?
oh yeah,
Okay, so in that picture, it looks like a little girl, and you can see like her profile of her face wearing that hat with like long curly hair, and it looks like she's on a rocking horse. That's like a image in my
wow.
ultrasound. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. It is absolutely crazy. And my mom was like completely blown away by it, and she took it to a psychic, and she told me that my son had actually had like a horrific past life. So that kind of like completely turned me away from psychics in like every way, because who wants to hear that, right? So I'm just like, no, you're lying, it's terrible. And I've
I
never
had a,
like,
go ahead.
no, go ahead, I was done.
Oh no, I was just going to say I had a past life reading with a psychic here, and I used to have this recurring dream all the time, and it was just bizarre. It was always that, have you guys, like a southern plantation house is what it was like, like in the history books and stuff that you see the pictures of the big white pillars. It was always the same dream, but it would be that I stepped out of this door and there was these huge pillars and I could see like fields in the distance, and I would wake up. I've never been traveling down south or anywhere that I might see these houses. And so I decided to get a past life reading, and what he picked up, he said that I was a 9-year-old girl who lived in Georgia during the Civil War time, and my father was a wealthy plantation owner, and that my mother suffered from mental illness and was in her bed most of the time. So I just kind of went out and played around the plantation. Now, do I know if it's true? No. But after he told me that, my dream stopped. And he told
How
me
did
that
he
that
say you
was just,
passed? Did he tell you how you passed away?
I passed away of a disease like smallpox.
Okay, so let me
Oh,
ask
wow.
you guys, do you have any birthmarks?
Yes. I
Okay.
do. And mine's on the
Uh,
side of my leg. It looks like I had an injury on my leg, but that was from another lifetime. He told me that was like during Prohibition, and that I
mhm.
was kind of a player. I would hang out in the speakeasies and pick up guys to buy me drinks and stuff. And one of the, well-known gangsters of that time, I got into the middle of a shootout and I got shot in the leg and I got gangrene and died. And
Hmm.
that's where my birthmark is on the side of my leg. So I don't
Because they
know.
do say wherever your birthmark is a sign of something that happened to you when you died. So I have a weird one on my thumb, but I also have one on my lower back.
Oh my
And
God, Robbie, right where you're pointing, that's where I have mine.
really, mine's a little
Swear to
pink one.
God.
I always tried to scrub it off when I was little.
So is mine, and it looks like a hickey.
Yes, mine too.
Are you
Um,
serious? I'm gonna
I'm
have to
not.
send you a picture.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to like it. I spray tan. Oh, see it?
Yep.
It's
I
right
see.
here, right there,
People used to
right there.
always ask me, "Oh, what's wrong with your leg?" And it's like, "No, it's okay. It's a birthmark."
Well, see, I did a past life regression thing with my cousin who's really good at it. And when I did it, I'm not going to go into detail because it's really derogatory and not appropriate for YouTube. But I was a little boy in a prison and there was bad things happening to me. And that's how
Ooh.
I passed away. And it was so weird the way, because she gets you really comfortable, almost like you're in this hypnotized sleep. And yeah, I saw all of it and it was crazy. So I'm like, maybe I like tried to escape and
Wow.
bled to death or something, you know?
Very possible.
But yeah, I did that one time and it was crazy.
Isn't
And
that
I
weird,
feel,
that like deep sleep state, hypnotic state? Isn't that wild?
yeah, but I definitely believe in reincarnation as far as I don't think well, I'm going to go a little bit extreme, okay? And you guys will be like, what the hell are you talking about? But it's just something I believe. Because when you see animals suffering or insects and you're like, how could something so innocent be like,
Yeah.
I feel like we reincarnate as people, and this is just my belief, and we learn and we learn and we learn. And I believe that when we talk about hell and punishment and stuff, I believe that people are reincarnated into a little insect that's suffering in a jar. Or
Very
bullshit
possible.
people that you are animals and fish and shit that you see flopping around in the sea and no one's helping them. That's hell.
That's sad. I
Yeah.
was watching videos about that on Facebook last night. It was about all these little abandoned puppies and kitties and stuff, and it completely ruined my whole night.
I cry. I can't
They're
even
in hell.
watch the ASPCA
But the thing
commercials.
is, I have to watch them because the ones on Facebook, they always show you a happy ending. Always. So once I see it, I have to watch it all the way to the end because I have to know that the animal's okay.
Sure.
Or I won't be able to sleep. Like I can't.
I'm
Like
such
it's
a softie for animals. No, I always
So
feel so sad when I see that. Yeah, definitely.
I do readings. We could pull some cards if you guys want to.
Yeah. Do you want me to show you quick what else I brought for ghost hunting equipment? I will just show quickly.
Yes, because I'm ordering my pizza because I've been streaming.
Oh, okay.
I did 3 different streams within 3 hours. It's not crazy. I haven't ate. So I'm ordering.
I only seen the one before in this. Oh yeah, you went on somebody else's channel. That's right.
Tia's,
well,
yeah.
This is the EMF. This is the what they have on Ghost Adventures and all of that. This is the one that they use, and it will, I'm sure if you guys have seen any of the paranormal shows, it'll light up. If it goes to red, you've got a really strong presence near you, and it works. This one's a little pricier than the ghost meter that I showed, and the ghost meter is equally, if not more accurate. But this is a good one. I won't turn on the spirit boxes because I don't want to deafen everyone. But this is
I have the spirit box on my phone, and it works really good.
I do too. This is the SB7 spirit box. This one you see probably on a lot of the shows. This is the one that makes that sound that's kind of noisy because it's constantly scanning radio frequencies. I like this one. This one's pretty accurate. You can get some pretty decent readings off of this. You can get some questions answered. It's pretty good. And then I thought I would try out this other one called the S box. I do not care for this one at all. I don't get good results on it. It's expensive. I was very disappointed with it. I still play with it now and then to see if maybe it's just me not being very good at it, but I prefer the other one. Then I have
Mexi has one that looks like that one.
Does the S box? Yeah, it's one of the newer ones out.
He's like a Ghostbuster. When we'd go out, he would I'm surprised he didn't have his little, power pack on.
Then I have, it's just basically a modified digital camera, and this takes just ultraviolet pictures. I would show you, but it doesn't show well on camera. So when you're actually just snapping random pictures, it's pretty cool because it's all in pinks. And so if you got anything, spirit or anything showing up, it'll show up in white, and it's very, very visible on this. And so that's kind of fun to use. I also have a black light. Sometimes, I don't know if you've ever seen them use grid lights on the shows. You can also use black lights and see if you're shining it on a wall or somewhere
like the
solid.
stains and the blood
Right, or you
stains.
can like check out where you don't want to sit, right?
Yeah.
And you can use that. I have, just little sensors that these things will light up and go off if anything crosses the barrier to that. And the last thing that I have right now is a giant crystal ball. Some of you may have seen this when I did a Halloween parody on Natasha's channel, but this is a real crystal ball. It is heavier than heck. I'm trying to learn how to scry in the crystal ball, and I don't know how familiar anybody is with scrying, but scrying is truly like you learn to look in the crystal ball and actually be able to see things. You can also scry with a mirror. But after my experience with the man's green face in the mirror, I don't scry in mirrors anymore. Or try just the crystal ball. And I haven't messed with it a whole lot. I just kind of have started learning it.
Do you mess with that stuff like in your house, or do you like go outside? Oh, you do?
I mean, as far as investigating goes, yeah. I mean, this is the crystal ball obviously doesn't come with me, but the rest of the stuff does. Yeah. And the crystal ball, I do all this stuff. We ghost hunt in my house. We use the spirit box, and there is an app called the Necrophonic app.
Oh, I downloaded that. I got so scared and I deleted it.
I absolutely
it does. It creeps me out.
It works.
Funny. You're adorable,
Ashley. It is hands down my favorite spirit box to use. If I have my choice, I will use Necrophonic before anything else. Because
it scares me results. Because like with actually because really the only like I won't watch paranormal investigations like on my like those TV shows like what are they called? What are they? I don't even remember what
Ghost
they
Adventures,
used to be called.
But remember, some of that stuff is fake.
That's right. Yes. That's why I never watched it. But when I started getting back into the paranormal stuff is when I found Robbie, and when I found Robbie, I found Mckamey.
Yeah.
So then when they were out doing investigations, that's when I started like watching it again because I'm like, well, you know what? This is live. You can't really fake that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I like go back and forth with it, and then so the only thing I really know about paranormal stuff now is from the Mckamey stuff, but I haven't watched him in a while actually. But I downloaded that one app, and I was because he always says, because he used to always say, you know what, it's the demons talking to you, not spirits. So when I downloaded that app, that's all I thought, and I'm like, I can't. I got so much like anxiety just hearing the sound that I was like, I can't. I can't do it. I'm just gonna watch it. It is because you don't know what you're inviting in. And
that's why I always set my intention with the white light of God. So nothing negative is coming through.
See, that's the thing is I'm not much of a believer in that, right?
That's okay. I mean, you can just set your intention for positive only.
Right, but I feel like if you aren't, because like I don't crap on it. My whole family's like religious. You know, I went to Catholic schools and I went to church all my life.
And that's fine.
But when I feel like if you're dabbling in stuff like that and you don't believe in God and you don't have that I feel like you don't have like a protection from being vulnerable. So I feel like that's why I won't mess with it.
I can understand that. Yeah. And it does sound creepy. Some of the voices do sound creepy. And like the first time my granddaughter ever heard it, she kept saying, that is scary. And I said, well, you have to remember that they don't have voice boxes. So they don't sound as normal as, we will. And another thing that I do with that is sometimes you'll get a whole bunch of voices at once. And I will just tell them, stop. I can only listen to one of you at a time. So one at a time, please. And then that will usually slow them down a little bit. But I love Necrophonic. That's my favorite by far.
I do too, because you can't hear all that crap in the back.
Yeah.
Angie was saying something that I totally relate with, and I'm terrified of car accidents. I drive perfect. I use the Smith system when I drive. I have always had this, it's not even a dream. It's like this, almost like this awareness around me that when I'm 42, I'm going to die in the backseat of a car accident. And I can't get it out of my head.
No.
I cannot, like, there's two people in the front on Highway 36 up by Boulder, and that's why I'm never going to be in the back of a car on Highway 36 in Boulder anytime, even before.
That's like some Final Destination shit. Robbie.
No kidding.
It's been like that since I was 18. And I've even said that to my mom. She's like, don't say that. I'm like, it's a feeling I have, and I'm going to be 40 this coming year. So I got 2 years left.
That's scary. That's really scary.
Hey, if this stream is still here in 2 years, or almost 3, we'll come back and see what happened. But I don't want to
celebrate
die in a
and
car
going
accident.
false. Yeah, try to just, turn that into positive manifestation. It's not going to happen, and pray.
Ooh, I'm scared of drowning too.
Necrophonic,
or a fire.
I see some folks
Fire
talking about
scares
downloading.
me, and water. Me and my sister actually almost died in like Erie.
Ooh.
we were smoking a joint on a dinghy.
So you almost drowned?
Yikes.
Oh, like because we had the rope like tied up on a rock, and so we were laying back on the dinghy, and we didn't realize that we were like floating away.
Oh.
And by the
scary.
By the time we're like dumb enough to, we didn't even have paddles or anything, guys. By the time we got up and looked, like we couldn't see land on either side. And my sister is the world's worst panicker, like ever.
Oh no.
So I had to get out of the dinghy, and I had to pull her in the dinghy as I'm like swimming back to shore. She's like, ditch the dinghy. I'm like, you want to ditch the one thing keeping us afloat in one of the most dangerous lakes around us. She's like, ditch it. So I swam for 45 minutes. Pulling a dinghy with a human body on it until we finally got back to shore. And then when we got back to shore, then she was okay. And then that's when I started to panic. Like I panic when the situation's over. She panics right in the middle of it. We literally almost died on Lake Erie. And then on the way home from my mom's trailer that day, we got into a car accident.
Oh no.
Crazy day. Crazy. It was
shit.
I was meant to die that day.
Robbie, I see people have been asking like what to say if they're going to use the apps for protection. If you believe, you can just say a prayer to God. I always and if you don't, just say that you'd like to be protected by the white light and nothing negative can come through. That's always what I do. And I have had very good luck with it. I have not had anything negative come through the spirit box. I've been cussed out in EVPs from electronic voice phenomena and digital recorders and stuff. And it's actually pretty funny. It's like, oh, yay, the spirit's cussing me out. And it's kind of funny. Didn't scare
I didn't
me.
want to be rude when you guys were talking, but somebody was saying, would I ever do tarot readings on like true crime and stuff?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if I would do it specifically. Oh, no. They were saying on true crime cases. I don't think I would.
No.
I don't think I would. Simply just because. I mean, we've done the spirit box at the Watts house and stuff like that, but I don't know. But as far as, do you guys want to test your intuition out and we'll pull cards? That'd be fun.
I don't know.
And here's how it goes.
Do that.
Yeah, well, exactly. But you do, because that voice inside, it's the first thing that comes to you. And we push it away. We're like, oh no, I don't want to say that. But you have to. That's your intuition. When you're being cheated on or someone's lying, that's your intuition. So like, I'm going to test my intuition real quickly on Aquarian baby. She said I almost died 8 times in the last 10 years. No joke. I almost drowned when I was little multiple times. So I'm going to test my intuition. The first thing that pops to mind with Aquarian baby is some sort of, I'm getting macaroni and cheese and some sort of indigestion right here. Maybe even dairy causing some sort of bloating or something. And so you feel weird saying it, but that's the first thing that pops to mind.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pull a card to go along with that. And she got Sun. Okay. And it says, your son is watched over and protected as he explores his world. Who wants to try next?
I'm not good at cards. Trust me, I'm not good at cards. I'm good at
no.
Listening
Your intuition.
To spirits.
Your intuition.
Oh, okay.
I can try. Look, this is how we got started on mine. Okay. Because we all have that intuition. One day we were just joking and someone was like, test your intuition on me. Dude, so many people emailed me and were like, oh my God, you're on point, because you can't like brush a feeling away and be like, oh, I don't want to say that out loud. You have to go with what pops up first and what's like the
Oh,
feeling,
wow.
that
Look at
intuition.
that. You were right on.
Did you have macaroni and cheese? What's with the sun card though?
Robbie, have
So
you
you
ever
could-
been to the Villisca Axe Murder House?
Mexi went. He streamed that, and he did stream it live.
Yeah, he
Yes.
did.
And he
Yeah,
stayed
I
there
seen that.
overnight in there.
It's crazy. Since
He
you're an
asked me
empath
to
like
go,
me,
and I said,
I
hell
think
no.
that's the one where he got those scratches on his back. Was it the
Yeah.
Villisca? I think it was the one where he got the scratches on the back. Yeah.
I got
I was supposed to go with him,
from
but
my
I
ankle.
can make excuses.
I
was
know. I
sitting-
wish you would have went.
Sorry. The cat just walked past. The black cat. Go figure.
Kitty.
So, yeah, when I was at the Villisca Axe Murder House, I was sitting in the kids' room on one of the beds, and I was calling them by name, and it literally felt like somebody grabbed my ankle, and I took off running down the stairs because it scared the crap out of me. I was not expecting that. So,
Did you guys ever hear about that haunted house that pays you $20,000 to complete it? Have you ever heard about that? I was reading about that just the other day, and it's like
have a
you
heart
sign like
attack.
you would. It's basically like you sign a waiver that if you die, oh well. It's
Wait,
like
are you
people
talking
who,
about the
is that Mckamey Manor?
is that what that is?
I have
There's
no
like a
idea
big-
what it was. I don't know. It just like I seen something. It was on TMZ's website, and I seen something like you get paid $20,000 to complete this house or whatever, and they can like literally torture you. The only thing they can't do is like sexually touch you or anything like that. But you can like legit
Then
die
I'm
from the
out.
stuff that they're doing.
If I'm paying
That's
that much
not
money,
fun.
I'm
I
having
mean-
sex with somebody.
It's crazy.
Yeah, if you're gonna die,
And you can't
Better
even
be
like
doing
sue them if anything happens. Like they tell you like your bones are gonna get broken and
like,
things
why
will
would you
fall.
put yourself through that? That's not enough money for me. I wouldn't want to do it for that.
Right?
Nope.
When I was reading the waiver, like my jaw was on the floor. Like I won't do. We did. It was it in Ohio. I'm thinking Ohio maybe because the girl that came up on the screen, Kimmy Kins or whatever, it's like Ohio or something. It's called like what do I want to say, like Mud House Mansion, something like that. But a couple years ago, we went to, I keep thinking it was Ohio or Idaho, either one. But we went through, and you had to go through like cornfields and cornfields to get to this mansion. And when you get inside, like there's no light, there's no electricity, there's no nothing. You're just like going through with a flashlight. It was the creepiest thing
Huh.
I have ever experienced in my entire life. And I think I'm going to give myself a little bit of credit. I think I made it 5 minutes.
Man.
I think.
I
So
love like
scary.
haunted houses that are just, for fun. And,
I do
and
too,
stuff like
and
that.
I like real haunted houses. I have no
No,
problem
I
going
don't.
in by myself. I like going in by myself and see what I can get. It doesn't scare me.
Mm-mm.
At that museum I was telling you about, Robbie, that has all the haunted items, they have it's like a whole hall of these shelves that are like floor to ceiling, and they're just dolls, haunted dolls. They call it Doll Hall.
Oh, no. I
Hell,
can't
And
do
I
dolls.
love
No.
it.
I can't do
love
dolls.
To go sit. I love to go sit
Uh-uh.
in Doll Hall by myself and see what'll happen. It's fun. I get a lot of cool stuff. I've had dolls come off the shelf. It's like, oh, hello.
I can't
So
go
you
in
think the
thrift stores by
Annabelle
the
doll is
toys.
real?
Yes. Thrift store toys,
Yes.
ever since I was little, we would go in the Ark buy the toys, and there's even this certain smell that's evil that you just
Yeah.
smell by the thrift store toys. But I wanted to say to Kimmikins, because it's been bugging me ever since she popped up, I'm getting something with a headache almost that has something to do with like combing your hair or something. It's like a really bad tightening headache. Maybe if you've been wearing a baseball cap or something that's really tight. Ever since she popped up, she's like, pull a card for me. It's saying emotional healing. Maybe you're causing yourself headaches emotionally, Kimmikins, and it's saying, as your heart heals of old emotional pain, you receive new blessings and love. Sorry, I had to tell her that because the whole time my head's been hurting. So you go with your intuition, even with feelings. If you feel a certain pain in your body when somebody pops up and they want a reading from you or something, it's like, do you have irritable bowel syndrome? because I feel like I have to poop now that I talk to you. You know what I'm saying? It's like you
Yeah.
have that intuition, that empathetic weirdness. It's weird. How about this? The first day of school, you guys, right? The first day that everybody comes together and they're starting school, you get that excited, nervous feeling, right? But when I would go to school, I would also pick up on everybody else's nervousness, and it would make me like
Yes.
sick and weak almost, because everybody's nervous, even though they pretend they're not. And it would make it worse once I got to school.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's absolutely true. And that even happened for me when I had my daughter and it was her first day of school. I would pick up all that energy when I would take her to school.
Leanne, do you want to answer Ale about your streaming that you don't do?
Yes, I haven't done any streaming yet, but I need to. Sorry, the cat's trying to knock over my phone. Go away.
And NK on the bottom, she doesn't stream. She's been in hiding for how long, NK?
3 years.
I need to start a
3
channel
years.
and get it going.
That's a compliment.
Robbie, I don't know whether
NK is
to be
gorgeous.
offended by that.
She's gorgeous. I think NK
I hate her.
I know you do.
I've got so many crazy stories.
Did you see I left in I left a comment. You were saying when we were talking about Lady Gaga and NK earlier, I had left a comment on the stream. You didn't see it?
What did it say?
I can't remember exactly what I said, but because you said I look like
Lady Gaga
NK
as well,
or whatever. Yeah, and then Tammy had said something like, you should take that as a compliment. He thinks NK is hot. I said, well, that's why he's going to marry me. I'll even do the creepy freaking giggle for him if he wants to.
Oh, I'll take a sunflower picture for you and send it to you on my break tomorrow.
Oh, do it. Oh, that would make my day.
I'll even drive out to Survey. How about that? Just kidding.
I still have an obsession with that case. I'm ashamed to admit it, but I do. If I see it and anything pop up, I'm like on it.
Well, see, that case always comes up, and that's why I think a lot of people, they misunderstand what my channel is, because they're like, Robbie doesn't do true crime anymore. First of all, I did that case because it was interesting and I was interested in it. And there's a lot of other true crime I'm interested in right now, but I don't want to talk about a lot of it because I saw a lot of you assholes coming after me and I don't feel like dealing with that cray-cray.
That's how I found you, was the Chris Watts case, Robbie. That's how I found you.
Yeah, and I don't like it. It's interesting and I want to talk about it, but it's almost like you have to talk about it in a private group or something, because a lot of people, they're not as open. It's almost like talking about politics or religion. And I love talking about the Watts case. Gabby Petito, I'm not really interested in, because I feel like it's basically kind of like we're never going to find out.
It's a trigger for me, that case. That case is a little bit of a trigger for me. I try to stay away from it.
And then, there's other ones like tonight. I did kind of start to get sucked into Summer Wells after being on that other panel with Tia. So, I mean, it's interesting, but at the same time.
Oh my God. Actually, speaking of that Summer Wells, I've never watched anything on it because when it comes to kids, I usually can't. Actually, that's funny too, because when the Watts case first came out, I stayed completely away from it because every time I heard anything about those kids, I would just bawl my eyes out. So I wouldn't watch anything on it. My ex actually introduced me to that case and I'm like, I can't. And then I finally got into it. And then with the Summer Wells case, I'm like, I can't. And then when you were talking about, somebody was telling you about what happened on Molly's channel with the dad or whatever, I went over there and I had to see. It's, when you hear something like that, you got to go watch.
Yeah.
So I watched and then I'm like, well, shit, like maybe I do need to look at that case because everybody says it's like crazy. And then I seen some lady do a spirit box on it and then I was like, I can't. I can't. It's a train wreck.
Well, also, I mean, I do get those feelings from people and vibes and stuff. So it's like the Watts case sucks that out of all of us. why would I don't want, it's not that I don't care about the other cases, but I don't want to get as involved because first of
What
all,
is it about that case?
I'm burned out.
I
on
don't
that
know, but
case.
let's
just too many emotions.
Well, calling a spade though, I also, when I see, you know, like Summer Wells, Gabby Petito, these bigger name cases, I also don't want to go there because I feel like I already did that enough with Chris Watts, and there's a lot of people that do it for clout that really are not interested. And then there's a lot of people that cover it that it's like they're covering it anyways. What am I going to contribute? Unless I can contribute something that's going to like be beneficial, then I'm not going to talk about it. It's pointless.
Well, you could though, if you have a different, because everybody sees things differently. So if you see something in the case, like a lot of people are going off, like whether they think the dad had a part or the grandma or whatever else happened. If you have a different opinion on it, other people would come to discuss that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And the thing is, like, I think with those ones, they're so complicated and weird that it's almost like you could really come up with anything. And there's so many different things that could make sense because it's almost like you're never going to figure it out. Like with Gabby Petito, I truly feel like there's only two people that know what happened and they're both gone. So, I mean, it's all up for speculation at this point, really. And it's really sad.
Unless the parents say something, because I think they know.
Yeah. I mean, that's a possibility as well, you know?
Yeah.
But the Watts case, it's interesting because everybody, you know, there's so many things that could have happened, and God only knows. Really, God only knows. And well,
you know what though? Do you honestly? Okay, so I was discussing this with someone not too long ago because unfortunately, like you said, I always get sucked back in. No, there's nothing new or whatever. But at the same time, when you're a rational person and you think clearly, it's just like, how does that happen? How does it happen? And he could come out tomorrow and say the whole truth and nobody would believe him. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's only been 3 years. Like, that is not a long time. He may get sick and tired of where he's at, and he might start to spill the beans. I really think so. I really think that he might come out and say something. Because if you're a believer in God, right, and don't you have to confess? Like, isn't that not, like, you have to, like, get it all out there and in order to be forgiven, like, truthfully, you know what I mean? So I don't know, maybe if he really is into religion like he is saying he is, maybe one day he'll come out and maybe he'll be like, this is what happened. Because when he says that he has things he's going to take to his grave, I mean, sorry, Robbie, but I think that's him going to throw NK under the bus. I think that's what he's going to take to the grave.
You don't have to apologize for having a belief. Like, everybody, like, even with religion and everything, you could sit up here and say you're a Satanist, and I'll be like, oh, okay, well, what is so interesting about it? Or what intrigues you in it? Everybody has their own, and that's why I like talking the Watts with different people, because obviously I have my own opinions that are very unpopular and stuff, but it's like everybody pictures things differently in their head, you know, and how it could have went down or happened, and it is interesting to talk about.
You do convince me sometimes when you're talking about it, Robbie. Like the last time we were talking about, you had me really thinking for a minute until I got off the live stream, and I'm like, no.
Was the energy when you went to the Watts house, was it really like crazy energy there, just negative?
Yes, but that's also where I could never say it without sounding like a jerk, but that's where I got my intuition about, like, being there. You're like, oh my God, those kids. And then I was like, poor kids. And I'm just going to leave it at that because I didn't feel anything else.
So, Robbie, do you think when you're going into places like that, knowing what had happened there, that kind of like tricks your mind into, like, how do I say this? Like you
Yeah,
go
it
in
could.
already knowing what happened. So does it like interrupt like the intuition, like as to where like if you went to that house and you had no idea what had happened there, do you think it would have been any different?
No,
I
not
don't
for
know,
me.
because
I
there's
meditate
some
before I
friends'
go.
houses I'll go. My friend Tanya, years ago, her and her family, she had 4 kids. They're a young couple. They finally moved out of their double wide and got a big house. And the first thing I said when I went there, I was like, "This house, somebody died here, and this house is evil." And I said it in front of her kids. She's like, "Don't say that. What are you talking about?" I was like, "It doesn't feel right at all." And I never, I
I
don't
love
know
it.
what happened there, but you just get a feeling. And when I went to the Watts house, yeah, I think that
Yep.
can play with your mind. But I was under the impression, the story, he killed his whole family. And that's not what I felt when I went there. I'll just leave it at that. So I felt something different than a lot of other people feel. And it's been every time.
I think that's just because, like I said, once you get something into your head, I mean, that's just how you see it. And if
But
that's
as
what like,
as a
because even with
paranormal
me,
investigator, go ahead.
even like when I'm like talking about that case or like any other one, like once I make up my mind, it's really hard to get me out of that. Like, I mean, if I were to go there, that would just be, even if I was like some kind of paranormal investigator or had intuition like that, I feel like I would still be like, I mean, stuck
Is
in
it
my
the
ways with
police?
that one. Oh my God.
Supposo.
I live on a busy street
I
and
told you she was NK all along. They finally came for
they're
her.
coming for me. I live on a busy street and they are constantly, like the guy across the street is a really, really bad drug addict. And they've been outside of my house every single night for the past like 8 days. And the other night, there was 3 gunshots outside my house the other night. And there was like 20 cop cars.
Oh yeah, there was a shooting 2 streets away from me last night, a domestic dispute, and the guy was shot multiple times. He's in critical condition. So yeah, I know how that goes.
Yeah.
That happened.
I live on a border city. It's bad. Yeah, it did. Yeah.
But Leanne, what were you saying about as a paranormal investigator?
Oh,
What were
I
you
was
saying?
going to say, like, as a paranormal investigator, I mean, there's been times that we've been called to places that we know people have died or people have been murdered, and we know the stories. We know, what the media says, what you see on social media, and you really have to go in there and just try very hard not to think about that. What I do before I go to those is I meditate. And I get myself in that frame of mind where I can clear my mind. So I'm looking at it with my eyes and my intuition and opinion and what I'm feeling, and not necessarily what's influencing what I'm feeling, if that makes any sense.
That's some self-control that I just don't have.
It's very, very easy to pick up that influence. And, I've been places where I'm like, ew, this place creeps me out. And it's like, does it really? Or is it because I know that this or that happened there?
Mm-hmm.
But when I go on an investigation, I have to take it seriously because we're getting called in there for people that want help with things.
Yeah.
Hang on 1 second, guys. 1 second.
Yeah.
I want somebody to come to my house and tell me if my house is haunted.
You want some?
You should. Do you have an iPhone?
No.
Oh, I was going to say, if you have an iPhone or any phone that records, or anything, it's fun to set a recorder at night and just let it record all night. It's very interesting what you'll pick up sometimes when you actually play it back. That'll be a good indication for you if you're hearing voices that are not you or your kids or anybody. That's a good start.
See, but the thing is we have TVs running 24/7 in my house.
Okay.
TVs don't
So
go
you
off.
pick that up.
Yeah, so it's either at night, because I don't cage my bunny. I won't cage any animal. I don't care what it is. So I don't cage her. So whether it's my TV or my 3 kids' TVs that are running, or my bunny doing zoomies around the house, I mean, I wouldn't
my
really
granddaughter's bunny does zoomies. Isn't that cute when they do that?
Yeah. She's a big pain in my butt.
JL, thank you so much. I'm looking at the chat. I haven't really been looking at it.
I'm on a phone, so I can't see the chat at all.
Ari, I have to say brushy just for you. There's a lady that is on another channel and she's very odd. She makes
Oh
these
my God.
videos with these dolls and she sings the song, something about brushy
Brushy,
to these
brushy.
dolls.
Mhm.
Yes. Very weird.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about?
I go to Natasha's channel too.
Okay, then you know.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say the name, you know,
Yeah.
but yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So you've seen her. She's yeah. Did you
Yeah.
see that she said she has an OnlyFans?
Yeah. Yeah. It's so funny because I
thought I was gonna die.
on parody night, I was gonna go in the bathtub and I was gonna go on panel.
Oh.
But I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that.
That would have been hilarious. You should have.
I was gonna go sit in the bathtub and be like, brushy, brushy, get my pen out. Yeah, I was going to, but
You could have been like, join my OnlyFans. That is so funny.
right?
Oh,
my goodness.
Amy is my best friend. She's
no,
you can't see the chat, but we're peas in a pod, so we call each other P. Cedar is her cat, and Cedar's watching me. Cedar, I love Cedar. Does Robbie have pizza?
I think so.
I thought he said he was going to order. Poor guy is probably starving.
Unpopular opinion, I don't like pizza at all.
You don't?
No. No, I don't.
I'm picky
Every time I
with
tell
mine.
people that, they're
You
like,
guys,
"Oh
my
my
food came. I'm
God."
so sorry.
Oh no, we're fine. I've been reading the chat and we've been talking to each other. We were talking about on Natasha's channel, that lady that I don't want to say the name, but she has brushy and her OnlyFans in the bathtub.
Did you guys see who agreed to come on and talk to me on my channel? I'm so excited. I think he might even be live right now. We should rate him when we're done.
Who?
He's one of the coolest guys on. He just switched over from YouTube. His name is Corey Tange. He does like really funny TikToks.
Is that the one that you showed earlier?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's really funny. But he's
actually,
really nice.
When we did a raid on that Cab 7 guy, I really liked him. He's so sweet.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him live in a while though.
No, me neither.
Oh, Corey is live. You guys, we should rate him. You want to go rate him?
Yeah.
Because I need to eat. We should definitely, seriously, we need to continue this conversation and talk about it more.
I agree.
Because paranormal stuff.
We have so much more to talk about. You know, there's so many things we can cover. I've got lots of interesting information about investigations at, you know, people's homes and lots of different things we can talk about. I think, we'll do it again.
Absolutely. And thank you for coming up here and,
you're welcome.
Even letting me talk to you about it, Leanne. And of course, Ashley and Kay, gorgeous, both of you.
I just came on because I have nothing else better to do. It's very rare Robbie dropped 3 hours. I came in late.
And Robbie, you know that anytime you can text or call me and we can talk about all kinds of other stuff that's happened, things, you know, and we can chat about that anytime too.
Okay. And sure, Jerry, hold on. Let me do my intuition on you real fast. I'm getting something, Jerry, with an empty cage. I want to say this is like an empty pet cage. Are you looking to get another pet, or did you just lose one that's like in a cage? See an empty cage. Or are you neglecting one that's in a cage?
Why do I see a bird? A bird is popping up in my intuition.
See, you practice that intuition. What are you seeing, NK? Don't say sunflowers or lazy dog.
Nothing. I got nothing for you.
Emptiness. See, an empty cage. Jerry, what's going on?
Oh, yeah, there you go. Maybe. There you go. I still want my private reading, Robbie.
I will absolutely. I'm so sorry that I've been slacking on a lot of stuff.
I'm not going to bother you. Are you kidding me? I bother you enough.
No, it's not a bother at all. I'm just an airhead and I'm in a hurry all the time. And, you know, of course, with like stuff outside. So you just seriously with stuff like that. I even set reminders in my phone. I'll even screenshot and set a reminder as my wallpaper and I'll still forget. So stuff like that, just keep poking and I'll be like, okay, I got to do it. So I definitely will.
You're going to be like, okay, shut up. I'll just do it.
No, you never
I
have
don't
to
like
shut
to
up.
be a bother.
No, you're not. If I enjoy your presence and your company and stuff, you're never a bother, ever.
Oh, see, I'm blushing.
Oh, NK, I didn't know NK, it was possible to make NK blush.
Yeah.
Leanne. Did Jerry respond? Did he dip out? Oh, he said, can you do your intuition? Then he said, what's his channel? Oh, yeah, I'm going to post his channel.
Thank you, Angie Marie.
He said, you had picked up that my dog passed away last time, maybe about my dog again, but I don't have any cages or other animals, not wanting any right now. Maybe you should get a bird.
Yeah.
I love birds. Birds are one of my favorites. I love them so much.
When you said that about the cage, it was like, yeah, it was like this bird just popped in my mind. That's what I'm seeing.
I've always had birds, but I had this pit bull dog who liked to eat my birds.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Shoot.
She was
that's terrible.
She wouldn't eat them. She wouldn't eat them, though. She would just, like, smother them and pluck them. It was really, really sad.
Holy shit.
Somebody else is asking you for your intuition. Ari. I don't know if you've ever seen her in Natasha's chat a lot.
Okay.
Ari,
well,
don't
guys,
be scared of birds.
Yeah, don't. And Ari, yeah, I'll do my intuition as we're leaving because we're draining out the room and we're going to raid Corey.
Yep.
Ari, the first thing that's coming to...
I'm not
I'm not a woman and I don't know what it feels like to be pregnant. I got pregnancy. But I almost feel like, see, again, this is like a negative thing. I almost feel like this is not a good one. You know what I'm saying? See, and you never want to say what your intuition, but you have to, because that's how we test my intuition. So that's what I got.
Can I say one last thing as we're leaving?
Absolutely.
If anybody wants to reach me, my email address I'll put as a comment to this video later. Feel free to email me. You're not going to bother me. I will answer you, and please do. I will start a channel. I see there's been a couple of people that are asking me to do something basic like Ghost Hunting 101, and I think that would be super fun. And
Absolutely.
So watch for that, from me coming up in the future. I'll plan something out and get that going. And then, if Robbie wants me to come back as a guest sometime, I'd be more than willing.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Robbie, for having me. And it was nice to meet you.
You too. I see you all the time over at Natasha's, but I don't.
Holler at me in the chat.
I'm not very active over
now
there.
that you know who I am, say hi.
Yeah, I will. I'm not as active over there as I am here.
That's all right.
I love having you here, Ashley. You're fun. And
thank you, Robbie.
Corey's going crazy dancing, guys. We're doing a raid. We're leaving.
Perfect.
Thank you, ladies, for coming up. I love you guys.
Bye. Good night.
Bye, guys. And we're gonna finish raiding. We got to drain the room. We got 60 people. Let's go over. It's pinned right now. Go over and raid Mr. Corey. Hold on a minute. I pinned Locamize, but I like to keep posting it in the chat too when I'm doing a raid, because I don't know, some people, do you ever notice that the pinned part goes away after a while? Okay, so let me copy and let me paste. There we go. All right, keep it draining out. Let's see. I don't even know if he knows what a raid is yet.
Yo, Terry, we just gotta keep up that vibe, you know what I mean, guys? Or it's called fourth party.
Oh, I'm seeing you guys over there.
Hey, Aquarius!
Keep going.
No way!
Keep going.
Save Robbie raid for Corey. Hey, yo, what up, everyone? Oh, God, here we go.
Keep going, guys. We got 47 people left. Love you, Angie.
All right, let's go, peeps. We got this, mate.
All right, guys. I'm going to go eat. Thank you for joining. Let's go enjoy a little bit of Corey. And I hope you guys have a wonderful, beautiful evening. And you're all wonderful, lovely people. Love you guys. See you in Corey's chat. Bye-bye.
No.